Welcome back to another Ivy League podcast, guys. I'm here with Dan. How's it going, Dan?
Good. How you doing tonight?
Good. And we're here with our special guest, Summer. How's it going, Summer?
Great.
So, Summer is very cool. She does a lot of things, but we'll get into those things later. So we'll just jump right into this thing here. Her mindset's very cool. She does a lot of things, but so I want to get your opinion on staying disciplined and staying active, because I know you do a lot of things, and like I said, we'll get into that later. But
hmm Um, Staying disciplined. Well, I'm always like planning ahead for my week, so I make sure that I have a activity planned each day just to have fun and stay fit.
mhm. Now I've been to a couple. So one thing that you do is, if you guys seen the show American Ninja Warrior, you do a lot of obstacles and Ninja Warrior type things. I've been to a class with you a few times now.
hmm
What time is the class on Wednesday? Is it usually at 7 a.m.?
6 a.m.
6 a.m. That's it. Okay, so
Yes.
6 a.m. Now, there's not a lot of crazy people like me, but when I met you, you're like, okay, come to class at 6 a.m. And I'm like, sure. And
Yeah.
every single time you invite me out, you're always there. You're always ready to go. No complaints, no nothing. Now, I think that's very cool to see that you're disciplined in your craft.
I think it's
Uh,
just so early, I don't even realize that I'm awake or what I'm doing. I just
yeah.
go through the motions.
How important is it for you not to miss something that you're gonna do? You know what I mean? Like doing what you say you're gonna do.
It throws off like my day, my routine. It'll make me grumpy. Like I need to get a workout in or I'm
Yeah.
grumpy for the day.
Now, do you do you hate if you say something and you don't do it? Is that part of it?
Yes, for sure.
Because I like, since I've known you,
Yeah, if say I'm
it's,
gonna do something, I'll show up.
yeah, you'll definitely show up every time, right? So
Yeah.
um, I think that shows a little bit about your character, right? Where did you start to have that kind of mindset where you wanted to always follow through with that kind of thing, right?
Um, I think I've always been like that. Like my dad was Jamaican and like there's always a stereotype of like, oh, Caribbean time, oh, they're always late. And it's just like I never wanted to be that. So I'm always early. I make sure that I show up. So it's always been a part of me, even when I was a kid.
That's yeah, I wasn't always like that, but that's cool that you had that kind of discipline straight from the get-go, and that resonated through into adulthood, right? So
hmm
that's cool that you keep it up. Another thing that I noticed with, uh, just just from your social media, a little bit of balance with everything, and another form of discipline. I see that you keep up with the skills that you achieve. Say another thing that you do is pull. What would you call
Pole,
that?
I call it pole fitness
Pole
because I
fitness.
don't
Okay.
do the pole dancing part of it. Like I've always been more into like the fitness, like the tricks and drops and
Hmm.
using like strength moves.
How long have you been doing that?
I started that when I was 21, so about 12 years.
Right on.
Yeah.
Now, I noticed that you post, like, say, a monthly pole practice type thing,
Y-
right?
Yes.
I, I
Um,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
oh, well, I used to work at a studio and I just like have taken time off just for myself. So I kind of like got really into ninjaing and then I kind of forgot about pole. So I've tried to like keep it in my rotation of activities.
How important is it for you to, like I said, this is another form of discipline, I feel like, when I see that you post these monthly pole practice type things,
Mm-hmm.
right? Keeping up with your skills. How important is it for you to maintain skills that took you a while to achieve?
Well, since I've started ninjaing, I call it ninjaing. I don't know if that's an actual thing,
Yeah.
but it's like I want to be well-rounded. So I want to keep up with pole because sometimes in the obstacle courses and competitions that I do, poles are involved. So I have to keep up that strength also.
So that's cool that I talk about this a lot, is doing the accessory work for the things that you want to do. And it's cool that they complement each other,
Hmm.
right? Another thing that we like to do is go rock climbing once in a while together, and
Yeah.
is also accessory. That's cool that you do these accessory things. And again, how important is it for you to do these things that you might not be the best at, but you try your best at, and you know it's going to help with your ninjaing.
Yeah, it's important. Yeah, because everything I do is going to help me with ninja. Yeah.
How long have you been doing ninja training? Hey, Summer?
Uh, just over a year.
Over a year. How did you find out about it?
Actually through my friend, her and her two little girls used to go to a family class, and she had two daughters, so she invited me, and I would just steal one of her kid, and we would do family class every Saturday morning. And then they told me that there were adult classes, and then I just got addicted to it because I was already a fan of the show. So
Oh, right on.
yeah.
How do you find, like, I know, so again, we talked about rock climbing, we talked about ninja, and we talked about pole. Now, these are all pretty unique things.
Yeah. I like
So,
different things.
is it for you with fitness, is keeping it fun a big thing for you?
Yeah, it has to be fun for sure and challenging.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I love the challenge too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely noticed that about you for sure.
Mhm.
Um, so you've done a couple competitions.
Yep.
Uh, how do you how do you like competing, by the way?
I dislike it very, very much.
But you're very good at it, right?
I've been told.
Yeah. So she so people know she's done very well for herself for the short period of time that she's been training, and I think it's amazing how you've been doing, and I find it interesting that you dislike it, because I think people need to understand this part of the mindset. Like, just because you're good at something doesn't mean you're always gonna like it, right? You see
Mhm.
that with a lot of things. So why do you do it?
Because it makes me uncomfortable and I
Hmm.
want to like conquer my fears and see how far I can push myself.
So this is more of growing yourself.
Yes.
I like that. I like that. You know, a lot of people need to
And
do
I just
that.
like to do random things.
Yeah, I hear you on that. As you notice
Yeah.
that we've tried many things together now. Um, so Dan, uh, I know you competed in the CrossFit thing, and did you feel uncomfortable when you were training too, or competing?
Yeah, I mean, I felt more so uncomfortable because I had never been in a CrossFit gym before. So, like, although I knew how to do the things, it was like actually in front of a group of people and just having to have the mindset of like knowing that it was your first time doing it and being okay with not being good at it or not doing things properly and not worrying about if people were going to judge you for how you're doing it. That was
Hmm.
like the part that was most uncomfortable for me. Like the competing part wasn't uncomfortable. It was more of like that mindset of like getting over the judgment, I guess, the judgment part of it.
Oh, for
Hmm.
sure.
Yeah, that's the tough part, right? Because we need to do these things for ourselves, but sometimes we think of what others will think, and then it messes with our mind, right? But
Mhm.
we should definitely reevaluate that kind of outlook on these things where you got to do it for yourself and figure out, even with our social media, right? One thing that I like that I simulated the same thing as you, Summer, is that sometimes we catch ourselves posting on social media to please others when we should be really doing it for ourselves, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I
Um,
talked to you a bit about that because, like, at one time I was like, oh, I gotta stop like filming what I'm doing because I just try harder if the camera's going, but I want
mhm.
to try harder for myself, like, no matter what.
Yeah, and I think it's great that you catch yourself. Sometimes it's tough to catch ourselves, really, but taking a step back and looking at what we're actually doing and if we're actually enjoying what we're doing. I just
Mm-hmm.
posted something on that today. Just enjoying what you do every time you do it, right? Or as much as you can. Sometimes, like Dan and I talk about this all the time, is doing the dirty work still, like still putting in the work that we don't really like to do, but to be better long term, right?
Mm-hmm.
How important is it to try new things for your mental?
Um, well, it always just keeps me on my toes and like makes me realize that I'm not good at everything. Because, like, sometimes, like, because I never grew up playing sports or doing any of these activities when I was younger. So, like, for some reason, I'm good at a lot of stuff. So, I still need to try other stuff to realize that I'm not good at everything.
You think it's important to be grounded or humbled?
Oh, oh, yeah, for sure.
I Do you think in a way with the ninja training, like the obstacles and all that stuff always changing and you can always be better at it, you think that's something that you're attracted to?
Yeah, yeah. And there's always new obstacles, and every course is going to be different, and don't get to try anything beforehand.
Yeah, I think I've told you before, it for me to try new things, it takes me a long time to be okay at something. So like for me to try ninja, it takes a lot for me because I'm like, okay, if I suck at this thing, I'm gonna try it a cajillion times. But sometimes you don't get that opportunity, right?
Yeah,
So
oh, for
that
sure.
definitely makes me really uncomfortable. But I kind of like it because the challenge too. It's very
Hmm.
fun. Um,
Yeah.
Dan, you should come out sometime.
Yes.
Yeah, it's something that I think like I know that'd be fun because it's just like playing on a kid's playground, like a big kid's playground, right?
Hmm.
And
Yep.
it's a great workout.
I think sometimes we lose that as adults, right? Seeing now that I see my kids playing on playground equipment, I'm like seeing their strength to body ratio. It's amazing. And I could
Oh,
only
yeah.
imagine if you thought of trying to adapt your body as you grew and try to keep that strength as you started growing and not get lazy, how good would you be?
Oh, yeah. Like the
How,
kids that are starting ninjing right now, like they are going to take over the world. It's
yeah.
crazy.
Now, so you just talked about that. Just want to ask you how you enjoy teaching others.
I love it. Like, I love seeing people succeed. I love seeing people try new things, step outside of just like lifting weights, and like I like seeing the excitement on their faces. I like seeing them overcome fears. It's awesome.
Have you always been like that?
No, like I've always been shy. Like I never thought I'd be able to teach fitness classes, speak in front of people. Never thought I'd be able to do it. But
Uh,
gyms are my comfort zone, apparently.
yeah, it's good to me. We talked about this in real life. Is it's good to meet like-minded people,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And it's I think it's very funny that we see certain people around the city that we keep bumping into and different things that are all similar in a way. Like we're big into body weight stuff, right? Say rock climbing, ninja, uh, whatever, jujitsu,
Gymnastics.
gymnastics, all that stuff, right? It's a lot of
Hmm.
like learning about yourself, body awareness, and getting humbled all the time, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's very cool to see that we bump into other people that have the like-minded stuff where they like to get humbled, they like learning new things, and yeah, it's very awesome. Now,
Hmm.
um, back to what I was talking about with teaching kids and seeing them get better. Um, what I meant by that is, have you always enjoyed seeing people succeed, or have you transitioned to that mindset as you matured? Because I know for me, when I was younger, whenever I seen somebody do better or have more things, like more opportunity, like better opportunities than I had from the get-go, I used to get
Hmm.
jealous. I used to get jealous and be like, oh, that guy has it all already, you know what I mean? He never worked for any of it or whatever.
Yeah.
Were you ever like that before?
Yeah, I was. Like when I grew up, like we didn't have enough money for dance classes or gymnastics or any of that. So that's why I started it when I was in my 30s. I worked hard so I could afford to do these activities. But yeah, I used to get jealous of people that were doing the fun stuff that I was never able to. But right now, now that I'm older, it's like I want people to succeed. I want people that I can train with and that are positive minded.
Is that part of your motivation? Is seeing others succeed, which makes you push yourself a little bit harder?
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Can I ask you what else motivates you?
Um, let's see. Well, looks motivate me. Like I want to look like I work out. Like when people see me, I'm like, I want them to know that I work out.
Yeah.
Like I
And there's
don't
nothing
care if
wrong
I
with
have a
that.
six pack
Yeah.
or like huge biceps, but I want to no, but I just want to look like I work out.
Yeah. And also perform to the
Yeah.
maximum level that you can, right?
Yeah, for sure.
That's fair. Um, Dan, what motivates you right now? What's your motivation right now?
Um, to get back looking like I work out all the time, because the last 2 months I've sort of slacked off and let the diet slip, and like been enjoying more beers and pizza and burgers than I probably should. And although like I work out every day, you can't really tell that I work out every day. So I'm like, I've been like running 3 to 5K a day. I'm working out every day and just trying to get back to like the base level so that you can tell. That's
Honestly,
what.
I love actually both your honesty there, where it's a little bit of aesthetics, right? I I know for myself, I maybe a little bit is motivation for me, but not really. But I like that that's part of the honesty with you guys. I like that you guys are always honest with your goals and your motivation
Hmm.
and stuff like that. For me, like I think performing outweighs the aesthetics, because I know aesthetics will come with how I perform and how I handle things outside of working out too, like the diet and stress, and I was gonna say sleep, but
Do you even sleep?
I read a book. No, I haven't read the whole thing, but I've been reading a book. It's actually really interesting. It's called Why We Sleep. You guys should check it out. It's really
Yeah.
cool. It's hopefully I can trick myself to wanting to sleep more,
Why do you have to
because
trick yourself into sleep? Like I love sleeping.
and I honestly I love that people can sleep. I can't.
You
I just
can
can't.
sleep.
I just can't do it. I don't know what it is, or I don't know. But it's I've listened to. I'll tell you guys a quick thing. Sorry to get off topic here. It's interesting thing in the book is why I get like a second wind, or why I don't have, like, sometimes I feel like I don't have to sleep. So I'll go like 24 hours and just keep going sometimes, right? Which is not good. Guys, never do that. There's this thing called adenosine, which is the thing that causes your brain to get ready to sleep. It makes you more tired, right? And then there's this thing called the circadian rhythm, which makes you start to wake up and start to have energy to start your day, right? So they don't care about each other. So the Adelusine will start to make you more tired, more tired, more tired. But as soon as your clock starts for your circadian rhythm, it will start and give you energy. So that's why sometimes you'll go through the whole day not sleeping, and then all of a sudden you'll have more energy, which that explains a lot of things about myself, where I get like a second, third wind, right? But yeah, anyways, it's don't do what I do.
No.
Anyways,
back to this.
No, Hawk. Back to the aesthetics thing for a second. I just like aesthetics should never be your main goal. Like for me, the aesthetics is for the mindset to like not cheat. So like when I go and look at like that extra snack or that extra beer, I like remember what I want to look like and what I used to look like when I was fit. And that is like the motivation with the mindset. It's not just strictly like I only work out so that I look good, which is which I don't like know if that's like sort of the healthiest thing to do, you know, because like if you're just working out strictly to look good, there might be something that's like off a little bit in the mindset to like actually give you the motivation to want to do it.
Now, in your opinion, guys, I'll start with you, Summer. Do you think a lot of people just work out for aesthetics? Like, I feel like there is a lot, in my opinion. What do you think?
Sorry, that froze a lot.
That's
Can you
okay.
repeat that?
Yeah, so I was just asking, I know a lot of people, well, this is my opinion, and I want to know your opinion on this, is if you think there's a lot of people that work out for just aesthetics. I feel like there is.
Probably. Not a lot of my friends really mention that. Usually it's just like performance and mobility.
Mhm. I feel like, well, you probably surround yourself with a lot of people that are in different things, right?
Yeah. Yeah, like I have CrossFit. I have people that lift like weights just at home. I have ninja friends, I have pole friends, I have like acro friends.
Yeah. So I feel like when you're in different things, your motivation is a little bit different than just aesthetics, right? Like you said, is performance and all that stuff. And I absolutely agree with what Dan said about if you're just doing it for aesthetics, then your mind's a little bit twisted, and you might not be in it for the long term, right? What do you think, Dan?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I know like a lot of people like in all the different sports and activities that we're talking about. If you're active in things like that, outdoor activities, all those different types of things, the aesthetics I think is just like the byproduct of everything else that you put into it. Because if you're into like ninja or CrossFit or gymnastics, you're probably eating the right way so that you're fueling your body so that you can perform your best at that sport. And when you have all those things in sync, the aesthetics is just the byproduct of what happens when you have that perfect balance.
Yeah, exactly. Like you don't even notice your body changing, like when you're doing these fun activities. That's how I find. Like I've had people comment, "Oh, body's changed just watching you on your Instagram and stuff." I'm like, "Oh, I've never noticed. I've never tried to like look a certain way. It just happens."
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's cool. That's a cool way to look at that, actually. Um, can I ask you, Summer, a little bit about your weight loss journey? Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
Just wondering, so can you just tell me a little bit about it? I know you haven't looked the way or performed the way that you are now. Like I've known you since you've been fit,
Mhm.
but you told me a little bit that you've lost weight in the past. Can you tell me a little bit about your mindset and when you got started with your fitness journey?
Yeah, so like I basically started in fitness when I was like 21. I just randomly started doing like a pole class. And then like I was still eating McDonald's, I was still drinking, and I was just horrible at like my diet for sure. Um, then around age 27, that's like when I was getting married, I kind of like started thinking of changing my diet. So like I eliminated sugar and fruit. And my husband at that point, well, fiance did like this weight loss challenge and I did it alongside of him. And I ended up losing 13 pounds just eliminating sugar and fruit. So I was like, whoa, I didn't even know I had 13 pounds to lose because, like, at that point, I wasn't bigger. Like, when I was a child, I was a little chubby. But then gymnastics, I started at 30 and just my body just kept changing and changing. And I just wanted to feel better. So then I just started eating healthier whole foods. And I think like a couple months ago, I had said that I was trying to like the vegan. So I did that for a little bit. And yeah, I just make sure that like I'm aware of how my body feels right now.
That's very cool. So you started a little bit later, like myself, which is
Hmm.
very interesting. Uh, so would you say it started when were you aware of knowing that you should probably be better for yourself?
In my late 20s.
So even after you started pole, I know you said that you were still eating McDonald's and drinking all that stuff. Were you performing okay, or were you still struggling a little bit?
I was okay,
Mhm.
but now that like I look back, it's like I could have been so much better.
If your diet was on point, if you had everything on point, would you say?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, do you have any advice for people that are starting later, like yourself, um, or like even later? Like you see some people start at 50, but
Hmm.
uh, do you have any advice for people who are having a hard time blaming their age or
Yeah,
saying that they're
age.
too big, or you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, like I've heard that, like, because
So many
I'm
times.
in different like niche fitness activities that like, oh, once I lose weight, I'll try pole, or oh, I got to
Yeah.
lose 30 pounds and then I'll try ninja. But it's like there's still alternative like ways that you can try these activities, but just you gotta just try it.
That's it. I
Like
I
I
say it all the
learned
time
my
too.
Yeah, like I started gymnastics when I was 30 years old. I learned my first cartwheel when I was 30 years old. Like I was terrified to even do a cartwheel because I thought like my arms would give out or I was too strong and I would just like go flailing all over the place. Like, so you're never too old, you're never too young, you're never too out of shape. Like you just have to start somewhere. Like,
So like Nike, just do it.
yeah, yeah, that's seriously what I tell my students if they complain like, "Oh, I can't do it." It's just do it.
Yeah, that's so cool. Now like again, I met you when you were fit, and I met you at a gymnastics seminar, and I saw that you were already fit. So it's very cool to hear your journey. And for me, this is fuel for me. I love hearing other people's stories, and it gives me fuel to keep moving. And then got me excited again to hear how you came to be, your journey,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Do you get motivated like that too?
Oh yeah. Yeah, like I watch American Ninja Warrior all the time. I watch like So You Think You Can Dance, like World of Dance. Like I love hearing some of the stories and just like wow, like they put in a lot of work and I'm just starting to put in the work and I'm learning through that and like having all my fitness friends just learning you guys.
I it's what I just thought of. It's fun to see that there's levels. Sorry, I'm carrying a pen right now. It's fun to see that there's levels to these things, right? There's levels to each thing that you do, like rock climbing, gymnastics, poles, and all that other things. I think it keeps you motivated too, and keeps you humble. I know you just had a interesting situation with your last competition there, or the competition you were gonna do.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about that
Sure.
and your mindset, please?
All right. It's still a sore spot.
Sorry.
So I went to do a competition in Barbados. So it was
Beautiful.
a NNL, which is a National Ninja League competition. So there were ninjas all over the world. All the Americans that were there have been on the show. There were some people from Germany, Switzerland, like so many ninjas. So for this course, they actually allowed us to test the obstacles the night before. So during the test run, I ended up on the third obstacle dropping about 6 feet, and I landed in between two mats, and my ankle went the opposite way. So I was in a lot of pain, but I was in a foreign country around no one that I knew. So, like, I wanted to act like, oh, I'm a tough ninja, I'll just walk it off. So after a while, I was like, oh, I don't think I can walk this off. And I don't think I'm going to be able to compete tomorrow, but I want to try the rest of the course. So, being the tough girl that I am, I ended up going on a trampoline and doing like crazy wing nuts over a pool. And I tested all the obstacles because at that point I knew I wouldn't be able to try them during competition. So, got that out of my system. I ended up crying the whole night, the whole morning. I was like, okay, we'll wait and see. I'm not gonna say I can't do the competition, but my ankle just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So I had to basically call the guy that was running it. He drove me to the medical center, and they had said that I had broke my heel, which I didn't break my heel, but they kept asking if I had travel insurance and all these other questions.
Oh,
So,
jeez.
yeah, but I was so upset. Like, I called my mom crying, and like, because this whole competition stuff is so new to me, and I just felt like a failure. Like, I traveled all that way, I spent all that money to go to this beautiful island, and I just felt like a failure. But then when I went to the competition that night, all the ninjas were so understanding, and like all the positive vibes, like they totally like lifted my spirits. Like they were so helpful with everything that I needed. Like, so I learned a lot, and it was probably like one of my best competitions because I did get to learn a lot.
Um, Sorry that happened to you, first off, and thanks for
Mm.
talking about it. Hopefully your ankle is a little bit better now.
It is, it is.
I know you've done a competition after that, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So what was how, like, did you use your mindset on, like, I know you're very strong-minded, and very determined. Um, was it, how did you use your mindset to get back from being in that kind of dark, like, I know it was in a very good situation, right? I
Yeah.
know you're back now. How did you
Hmm.
get yourself back out of that slump there?
Well, I just love ninjing so much. So the second I even got back to London, I went right to my gym. My ankle was still wrapped. My coach was like, "What are you doing here?" I'm like, "Well, I didn't hurt my upper body. Like I can still
Mhm.
do the pegs. I can still like swing. Like I was landing on one foot and just like doing like a pistol squat to my butt if I fell. Like there's
You
still
went rock
ways
climbing.
around it."
Yeah,
Oh, yes.
you went rock climbing with me, which is
Yes, I did that with you too. So, yeah,
one
like
thing I sorry, go ahead.
it's I still have to do activities because that's what makes me happy. So, even if I was injured, like most of my activities are upper body.
Yeah. Did you do you feel like you came back, or you are back smarter from the injury?
Yes, yeah, I'm more aware of my body. I've more aware of how to fall.
Yeah.
I I listen to my body more.
So Dan had a like not similar but similar situation with his body there. Uh, Dan, did you come back smarter? You feel like after your injury?
Yeah, for sure. I think anytime you go through something difficult like that, and if you can go through something really difficult and only take the positives out of it and learn from it and grow from it, I think, like as we've talked about before, I think that's like really the best way to get out of any negative situation is just to look on it, at it, and reflect about it and take all the positives out of it that you can, and just like process the negatives as fast as you can and get them out of the way, and then just focus on all the positives and the growth that can come from things like that.
I just want to say that I like you guys both for healing like Wolverine. You guys both healed up pretty good, came back, which, this is again what I tell people all the time. When I listen to people's story, this is why I talk a lot nowadays. It's funny because my dad used to talk a lot, and I'm like, why does he talk a lot? But now I understand, right? It's collecting everybody's stories and getting motivated and learning from myself through other people, right? So why I ask is if you guys came back smarter is being more aware, like you said, being more aware of yourself, your things around you. Sometimes when we do things for so long, we forget those things, right?
Hmm.
So that's cool that you did a competition after that, and the injury wasn't even too long ago, right?
No, no, it was like 6 weeks ago.
Yeah. So
Hmm.
as you can tell, I surround myself with crazy people, just like myself. So, but that's cool though. It tells a little bit about yourself, right? Um,
Yeah.
you have a competition on Saturday, you said?
No, I'm not actually in it. I'm just there to support.
Okay, cool.
Hmm.
That's in Port Stanley, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's a CrossFit. I'm not a CrossFitter. I tried
Yeah.
one class and wasn't the best.
Dan, do you have any advice for her?
Hey, everyone has their things that they like to do and that they don't like to do, right? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like you can't tell anyone to do a certain thing. Like, for example, you guys love ninja so much. I might come out and try ninja once and be like, yeah, that's not my thing.
That's true.
And you go do a CrossFit thing and that might not be your thing. Or you go to try to do a 5K run and you're like, running's not my thing. Like, everyone has their things that they enjoy that get them excited to exercise and work out.
Hmm.
Absolutely. Um, I will continue to try to motivate people to move, though.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Finding your thing is definitely a hard thing to find, don't you think, Summer?
For certain people, like I have too many things that I love and I don't have the time or energy or finances to support all my crazy habits.
How do you find balancing all those things? I know you said earlier that you prep, like do a little bit of writing down or
Yeah,
prepping.
and yeah, each day like I just make sure I have like at least one activity or yeah, I just always have a plan.
Are you a daily planner or a weekly planner, monthly planner,
Uh, Weekly.
weekly? Yeah. Are
Yeah.
you a planner and prepper?
Um, no, I don't really do a lot of prep. Like I plan a lot of my activities in my head for the whole week, but I don't think about my body and if it's going to handle all my activities for that week.
Yeah.
So sometimes I overload and shouldn't ninja like 3 or 4 times in a week. Like, so I'm still learning.
Yeah. That's another thing. That's the journey, right?
Yeah.
Continue to learn about ourselves. Dan, you're a little bit different from both of us. You're planner and prepper in a different way. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Like, what do you mean?
Like you write down a lot of your things. Like I like the way that you do things. I never do it like that, but I
Yeah,
have
like
your journal and everything. So
yeah, like every Sunday night, I plan like all the stuff that I need to get done the week ahead. I don't really necessarily, I'm not like Monday night I'm going to do this, Tuesday night I'm going to do this. Excuse me. I'll be like, this week I want to go running 4 nights. I want to mountain bike 2 nights. I want to swim 1 day. And then because I have such a hectic life, because I have a 3-month-old and a 2-year-old, I just like fit stuff in when I can fit things in. And I just know, like, I sort of have like that list of all the stuff that I need to do. And when I have that 20-minute space or 30-minute space, it's sort of like Tetris. I just like fit in whatever activity will fit in at that time and just slowly like knock them off for the week. And then, yeah, like, I feel like if you plan your week ahead, you're sort of, well, the prepping just sort of comes with it. Like, if you plan to do 5 exercises that week, you'll sort of prep your day in a way that you know you can get that in. They sort of like go together.
I actually know a few people that do your similar style, and I like that. I like what you do. I don't do that for myself. I do mine daily, but also I have that week of like you list of things, but I place them all during a time period daily. You know what I mean? So a
Yeah.
little bit different, and I do it in my head.
Yeah.
The only thing that I ever write down is my client times and days that I have extra work and stuff like that. But I try to, for me, it's constantly doing the things that I like to do, say working out. I try to do as much as I can every single day, right? Or jujitsu, wherever I can fit it in, right? Each day is going to be different, but the time slot of my availability for that certain thing, I try to fit it in that time, right? So a little bit different. But how important is it for you guys how important do you think it is for people to either be a prepper, planner, or have some sort of plan?
I think it's important. Because if you don't plan, then you're going to fail. So you have to plot that workout time if that's your goal. So you have to wake up an extra hour early, or
Mm-hmm.
make sure you do it after work, or set out your clothes prior to.
That's part of the discipline that I like about you, Summer,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Like we said at the beginning there. Dan, what are your thoughts on being either a prepper, planner, or having a plan in general?
I think if you're the type of person that like wants to get shit done, you have to be some sort of planner or prepper in order to get the things done that you need to get done. I sometimes like to look at it like, if you're going to go on a road trip, you're going to plan out the route that you're going to take to get to your final destination. If you just jump on the road and you don't have a plan, you're going to be all over the place. It's going to take you forever to get there. You save a lot of time. You save a lot of energy when you prep and plan. And you really, like, I don't know how you wouldn't get everything done that you want to get done if you don't plan to get it done.
Exactly. I like exactly what you said there. The example I always use, like, especially with health and fitness there, is usually if you don't plan or prep food, for example, how many times have you seen people just pull whatever out of the cupboard and pull whatever out of the fridge? And do you think it's going to be healthy most of the time? Most of the time it isn't, right? They're just grabbing whatever,
Guilty.
whatever, right? But I like that example of what you said with jumping on the road and just freestyling it. Like, for myself, balancing everything I want to do and trying to maximize being productive, right? You got to have a plan. I feel like if you want to get more shit done, that's exactly what you got to do, is have a plan going into it, right?
Yeah, like, I'll give you a good example. Like I said, I've been like sort of off the wagon eating properly the last like 2 to 3 months. And it's because I haven't spent my Sundays prepping for the week ahead. Like, I used to plan out every single meal on Sunday so that when like Tuesday came, it wasn't like you're trying to figure out what you're having for dinner. It was like you knew exactly what you're going to have for dinner and you were good to go. And since I haven't had that plan and that prepping, like that aspect of my life has totally like gone haywire because it's exactly what you said. When I don't know what I'm going to do for dinner and it comes to like last minute, it's usually not the healthiest option that gets chosen because you're in a rush and you just want like that quick relief.
Mm-hmm. Our next topic, just real quick, that I want to get on. I know we all have our other halves. Um, how important is it for you guys to get your other half on board on whatever you're doing to progress yourself, if it's fitness, health, or whatever, business or anything like that? I'll give you guys an
Uh,
example. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Summer.
no, you go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I'll give you guys an example. What I see as a trainer is not all the time, but some of the time is if one person wants to be better with their fitness and their health and they want to lose weight and all that stuff, if the other person isn't on board, sometimes it's almost a recipe or a higher chance of failure, right? So sometimes I mention to them, like, just let your other half know what your intentions are to be better and all that other stuff, and they'll support you, right? Sometimes if they don't know or if they don't want to support you, it's going to be a tougher road. So how important is it for you guys, and how important do you think it is for your other half? And I know a lot of people, the reason why I ask this is I know a lot of people can relate to this, right? Um, what do you guys think? Summer?
I've struggled with this. I've tried to get my husband into the activities that I enjoy. He's not really built for the activities that I enjoy. Like he's probably like 250 pounds, 6 feet. Like he's a big guy.
Mhm.
So he's not really into rock climbing or ninjing. Um, he's also a drinker. He's a businessman. So like work is very important to him. So he has his goals and then he knows that I'm completely opposite to him. So on my cheat days, that's when we'll hang out. We'll go eat. I'll have one or two beers at the most just to like kind of be on a level with him and but yeah, it's a struggle. We're
Does
we're very different.
But does he support what you do? Like, is he he does he support what you do and trying new things? What do you think?
Uh he's starting to get better. Uh, there have been a couple times that I've had to say, "Oh, I'm just going to a stretch class," because he thinks I'm like overtraining or overworking out, and it's like, no, I'm not going to stretch. I'm actually like ninjaing hardcore.
Yeah. So, do you think it's important, in your opinion, saying what you've been saying? You think it's kind of important for
Yeah,
your partner to try to support you?
yeah,
Because
oh for
it makes it
sure.
easier, right?
Oh yeah, you need it.
Mhm. How about you, Dan?
Yeah, I'd say like they don't necessarily have to do exactly what you're doing, but as long as they have the understanding of like why you're doing what you're doing and know that it's what you want to do and if it's what makes you happy and your partner supports that, I think that's the most important part. Like I know like for me, if I don't get my exercise every day, like I get grumpy and my patience aren't there as much as if I do get my exercise in. So when I say I have to take half an hour and go for a run, there's like no argument there, like or any like discussion. It's just like the understanding is that like okay, like I know that you have to go have a run because if you don't, you might get grumpy tonight or whatever it might be.
Hmm.
So it's as long as they understand and they definitely like I definitely think you need that support for sure. If you don't have it, then uh, it just can make things more difficult.
I like what you said about they don't have to do what you do, but it helps if they understand why you do it. I love
Yeah,
that.
like say maybe you're eating healthy and they don't want to eat healthy, but as long as they're not like chirping you or making comments every time you're eating healthy when they're not, and they're supportive of it, that's all that really matters, right? Because if they're making the comments, then that's what's gonna like get under your skin, and that's not gonna help support you on your journey.
Yeah, it might be a little bit longer road if you do care. You do care because they're in your inner circle, right?
What about you?
Me,
Yeah.
my wife thinks I'm a little crazy, but um, she does kind of understand. You know what? Like I kind of laid it out from the beginning that I was a little crazy, and she's still with me, right? So it does make it easier if they understand you a little bit. Like for myself, like summer, I do enjoy trying tons of new things all the time, and like you, Dan, you like trying new things too. I'm just trying to find myself, right? I'm trying to learn about myself, put myself in uncomfortable situations nowadays to learn more about myself. If I can be better, or if I'm just gonna let fear take over, or whatever, right? But it does help if the other half can understand you, but not all the time will they understand you, right? Uh, Sometimes that's a reminder that this, like you, Dan, it keeps me sane. So me investing in myself, I almost can help others and be a better dad and be a better person, right? By investing in myself. So that's why I try to make sure that she understands that if she asks again, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like what we talk about all the time. In order for you to be the best in like the father partner situation, you need to be the best for yourself first in order to be the best in those situations.
Hmm. I think those are good opinions on all that. I think a lot of people can relate to that because it's not easy if the other person doesn't support you, right? It's just, it's a long day. It's a long day, and it tells something about. It may take a little while, in say summer situation, my situation, like my wife still doesn't understand me in some things, right? But
Mhm.
uh, it's not like everybody's 100% is different. Like this is what I always say is my busy is going to be different from another person's busy. Say one person, they like working and they like coming home and being a dad, and say that's it. So they just repeat that every single day. Mine might be uh, working, being a dad, jujitsu, rock climbing, blah blah blah. Now both of ours are full plates. I'm not going to judge his on his, right? Um, but it's just trying our best and getting our other half to understand that everybody's busy is different. I think that's part of it too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think like not just your other half, I think even like the circle you surround yourself with, your friends, like that close group of people that you're always hanging around with, if they don't help support you in what you want to do, that's a big thing too, right?
Or understand, right? Like you said, understand is a big one. Uh, a lot of people don't understand half the stuff that you do or what you do behind closed doors, right? To get what you have to get done, right? So, um, but before we close this off, Summer, thank you again for your stories and your
No
motivation.
problem.
Um, is there any tips for people who are struggling with their journey? Like we talked about a little bit about trying new things, but struggling with themselves to uh, be better or not quit after they get one injury or trying to get back from the injury or anything like that. Can you just give a quick tip?
You just have to try. Like, you just have to put yourself out there.
Probably not care about what other people think, right? And just keep doing you, right?
Yeah, for sure. And you meet
Um,
cool people along the way, and then they help
yeah,
you want to do cooler things.
yeah. That support system again, right?
Oh yeah.
Dan, you got anything else to say?
No, I think Summer finished off pretty good there with what she had to say.
Okay. Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for listening, and we appreciate you guys. And see
Oh,
you guys
just
next
if anyone wants to get a hold of Summer, where can they find her?
summer.
Summer 007.
We'll put it in the description, guys.
Yeah.
There you go. Her username tells a lot about herself there. All right. Thanks a lot, guys.
Until next time, cheers, guys.
See ya.